order. It's October 13th at 6 p.m. We muted everybody or?
Muted.
Thank you. So good evening, and on behalf of the City of Independence, welcome to the Planning Commission, October 13th. For the convenience of those participating in tonight's meeting, I'd like to remind you all in attendance, both commissioners and staff and the public, to please mute yourself when you are not speaking to prevent distraction and unwanted disruption. Staff will be enforcing this and monitoring those in attendance for questions during public hearings. During the public hearing portion of the meeting, staff will call on those who have requested to speak in the order they are signed up. Following that, anyone else who wishes to speak will be recognized. For those of you who wish to speak tonight, please remember to address all comments and questions to the chair and keep your comments brief and on point. If you agree with the previous comment, simply state your agreement. Tonight, to expedite the meeting, if there's anybody who would like to testify or think they might, to be please sworn in. Do we have anybody that's here to speak tonight? I don't see anybody.
I have a couple that called and said they wanted to speak or ask questions.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that's Tina and Jeffrey possibly.
Okay. So are there those on that would like to speak? Can you unmute and say yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Anybody who would like to speak, I'd like you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth before this commission? If so, please answer, I do. And you'll have to unmute.
I do. I do.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, before we begin, will the city please do roll call?
Okay, Commissioner Dreer. Did he say yes? Okay. Commissioner Ferguson.
We can't hear you now. You're low garbled.
Unmuted.
Did you hear me? You couldn't hear the commissioners. Okay, I'll start over. Commissioner Dreer.
Here.
Commissioner Ferguson. Here. Commissioner McLean.
Here.
Commissioner Michelle.
Here.
Commissioner Preston.
Here.
Commissioner Weir.
Here.
And Commissioner Wiley.
Here. Perfect. Okay, we will present the first case, which is case number 20-100-09, South Ralston Avenue vicinity. Applicant is the City of Independence.
We need to vote on that. The continued case, the first case, yes, to continue it.
We do. I'm sorry. I was just rolling right through. There, the first case, which is, oh my gosh, I already put it away. Let me grab it. Was case 20-125-01, the rezoning preliminary development plan for 4580 South Bass Pro Drive has been moved to or continued to October 27th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move for approval for the continuance of case number 20-5201 to the date of, so stated, October 27th.
Unmuted.
And Rick, was that you that second?
Yes.
Where's the second?
Rick?
Rick,
Oh, Rick. Okay.
Okay, will you call for the vote?
Okay, Commissioner Dreer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
yes.
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes, C.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes. And then, the other business we had was case number 20-400-09, which was a home business permit. This case has been withdrawn. So now we'll move to case number 20-100-09, South Ralston Avenue vicinity. Will the staff give the report, please?
Okay. City of Independence requests to rezone 49 properties located between East Truman Road on the north and East 14th Street south on the south, the railway right-of-way to the east, and South Hardy Avenue to the west, to rezone those properties, except for some excluded ones noted on our map, from R18 PUD medium density residential planned unit development to R6 single family residential. And if you look at our vicinity map here, you can see the general area to which I speak. Right near where the railroad track comes over Truman Road, in the Maywood area here. Okay. Now we go on to the zoning map. You can see the surrounding zonings. This general area, our more detailed map will show the enclaves within that are excluded. But generally, we're speaking of this area within the orange with the dots here as the area to be downzoned to single-family residential. The surrounding zoning is mostly C2 on the north. There's some industrial as well as some R12 on the northwest. And of course, the dominant use to the south is single-family residential, but the zoning is R12. There's a mixture of duplexes and single-family in that neighborhood. This is the use map showing the continued vision for this to be residential in nature, although the use map includes some of the more northern lots within an area of proposed mixed use. So we have basically auto repair businesses to the north, slash tow lot type operations, and a small office to the northwest. We've got on the intersection of Hardy and Truman Road is a car wash abutting this area. And of course, going southward along Hardy, there to the west, and the properties to the south of 14th Street again are single-family homes generally, and we have the railroad right-of-way on the east. So I had mentioned that there are some properties that were excluded from this downzoning. The reason being, the uses on those lots are actually either two-family or multifamily, and to prevent, we're trying to eliminate legal nonconformities and not create more. We are excluding those lots from this downzoning request. The concentration of two-family and multifamily housing in the northwestern part of Independence reflects that many of the area's older homes were divided up in earlier decades. These uses were seen as a buffer between the commercial and the railroad uses there on the northeast and north, and the residential to the south. The current legal non-conforming situation of this resulted in 1980 when a change in the city's zoning ordinance eliminated our pyramid zoning that we had. In short, this legal nonconformity that was created is not allowing the uses of less intensive zonings within this district, meaning single family, meaning if something catastrophic happened to one of these residences, not being able to rebuild, for instance, or being able to easily get mortgage refinancing on these properties. So recently we had a homeowner at a structure at 1330 South Ralston Avenue found he couldn't restore his single-family residence without rezoning the property. And of course, this is what alerted staff of a similar situation that existed throughout this area. So this application by the city is a correction to that legal nonconformity problem for the single-family homes within this area. So real quickly, I'll go through the pictures here. This is on the far northeast corner of the neighborhood, one of the properties that we excluded from this downzoning. This property is obviously a multifamily use. It's actually a fourplex. This is Ralston. Let's see. This isn't Ralston. This is this is Ralston. Looking down it, and Ralston looking the other way, up it toward Truman Road. This is at the southeast corner of the neighborhood where Hedges and 14th Street come together. This is the house that was on Ralston that actually prompted us to look into this zoning issue. This is Hedges Terrace, which is that narrow, steep road that comes right off Truman, just east of the railroad bridge. And this is sort of pivoting 45 degrees, or 90 degrees, I mean, to the south, the corner of Hedges and Ralston. This is one of two vacant lots that would be subject to the downzoning to R6. And this is the other vacant lot. This is on the west side of the neighborhood, on Hardy, looking toward Truman Road and the car wash that's up to the north. And this is the intersection there at the southwest there at east of 14th Street and South Hardy. This is the house that lies immediately south of the car wash on South Hardy on the east side. That concludes our little tour of the neighborhood. Ready to take any questions you may have. Staff recommends approval of this case. Everybody's muted.
Question.
Yeah.
You mentioned there are 2 vacant lots. It appeared that those lots are rather small and would only be suitable for residential construction. Is that correct?
Right, and that's another reason to downzone them anyway to the R6 and not, we wouldn't want them to remain the higher density and have somebody want to make an application for a permit for such narrow lots for a higher density anyway. So given their narrowness, their good use would be as a single family residence, meeting our code.
So this downzoning is not going to disadvantage anyone as best we can determine.
That was our purpose of the excluding those other 6 properties, I believe, that are already multifamily within most of those being actually designed and built as multifamily structures.
Thank you.
Staff, do you want to recognize who is willing or ready to speak for this application?
Yes, you just need to officially open the public hearing.
Okay. The public hearing is now open. And we'll recognize anyone who would like to speak for this project, for this application.
Miranda, can you identify those people who signed up to speak and call those people?
I didn't realize we were making a list, so I didn't make a list. I'm sorry.
All right, if you have anyone here in attendance who has contacted the city in order to speak tonight, if you would just choose yourself and unmute yourself, and please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Jeff McDaniel, and I'm on behalf of 1207 South Willow. And we were just wanting to know why the property that's being excluded on Willow is not being rezoned.
Okay. So you're talking about 12, 15, or not 12, 15, 12, let's see, 12, 12, and yeah, that's, yeah. I can't tell what that address is, but I believe that's a duplex that on that property.
Yes.
And it was that's what I was speaking about earlier is, with the exception, I think, maybe of one of these properties, they weren't built as, none of them were built as single-family homes. They were actually designed and built as duplex or triplex or fourplex units. And so they're functionally, by their design, multifamily and exist that way. And if we if we downzone those properties, we'd be creating, although we're fixing the legal nonconformity for all the single-family homes, we would be creating one for the multifamily properties. And it'd be particularly difficult for those owners because buildings were in fact designed to be multifamily. They're not easily convertible back to single family.
Does that
I
make-
understand. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I understand that it's a duplex, but it's being used as commercial, and there's an issue with the property residents and people here on the street. I don't mean to speak bad, but there's been children that have been getting drugs over there, and that's just our issue with it.
Okay. There's two issues. There's the possible criminal issue that we can report. But as far as the code issue goes, you were saying there's a business being operated there. What kind of business?
It's a sober living house, but then we can watch them sit on the curb and cars pull up all day long, all evening, and they just walk out to the car and drive off. It looks straight up like they're selling drugs. And actually, my nephew, my sister caught her son with some marijuana, and when she asked him where he got it, he said he got it from the guys over there. I don't know if he approached them or they approached my nephew, but he said that he got it from over there. So.
Well, we can refer this to codes and police department, but specifically tonight, all we can deal with is zoning issues. And I didn't catch what kind of business you said. You said a summer.
Sober.
A what?
Sober house. S-O-B-E-R.
Oh, a halfway house. Okay. Well, we can check and see if that was one of our listed ones, and if it's not, codes can look into that. Yeah.
Thank you.
It sounds like, it sounds like the city can take care of, look into that for you. So for layman's terms for me, so kind of an answer to his other question, why isn't it being, or why does it get excluded? It's almost like you're grandfathering in these situations, right? So if they go away, they have to come back as single family. Is that correct?
No, not these 5 lots. These would be excluded and would remain R18 PUD
Okay, forever
until we rezone those.
okay.
So we were just trying to get rid of legal nonconformities without creating new ones, particularly since most of these 4 of these buildings were specifically designed as multifamily, and changing them to single family would not be conducive to their design of the existing structures.
Okay. Would the next speaker like to unmute and give your name and your address? Is there someone else who'd like to ask questions, either for or against the project?
My name is Tina Taylor. I'm at 1224 South Hardy. So this would affect it would be just adjacent for me. And I'm wondering why these people in the affected areas, because I know this is still going to be voted on in November, those people were not notified. There's a sign, very small sign with very, very small lettering on it at the end of the block. But I know these people, I have neighbors across the street that I know, and they were not notified of this at all. So they're, weren't notified of this meeting nor the city council, voting on this. I'm wondering how come. I gave them a copy of this just so they would know that this vote's coming up, and that's one question. And while I'm on here, just another question, and I do believe you've already answered it. I'm just wondering how come it went so many years zoned for the R30 PUD, went so many years zoned that way for, PUD R30 and not residential, since it's clearly, built that way for single family. I'm just wondering.
Okay.
Question.
As far as the first issue, I know we sent out 2 different sets of letters, the inner letters and outer letters. We can look into if you, who didn't get notification. If you could get back with us later, call me tomorrow or probably better Thursday at the city, and because we won't be here, or some of us won't.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I don't mean to be rude at all. May I give my neighbor maybe your email or something, so that possibly he can get back with you? There's 2 neighbors over there that didn't receive anything, and possibly maybe they can get back with you. Or, I mean, I guess I could.
Yeah.
I just...
Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, my email is my first initial and last name, BHARKER @
Oh, you're Brian. You're
Yes.
Brian. Okay, I got it. I'm sorry. Your name's on your oh, it's just your...
and my phone number is on the sign too. It's actually on the sign. But
It's on the letter here. Oh, what's your email? I'm sorry, your email's not on the letter, but it's okay. I got your phone number on the letter here. It's okay. I got it. I'm sorry, your phone number's on there.
okay.
Okay, carry on. I'm sorry. I'll let you answer the question now. Very sorry.
So so as far as we know, everyone or all property owners were now renters didn't get letters. It was just the property owners that did. And as far as we know, we sent it out to everyone, and we'll check on any of these you say didn't get that. As far as the second part of the question, the reason why while we're doing this downzoning, before I earlier mentioned that back in 1980 we used to have what was called pyramid zoning, and actually that even later than that, in 2009, before we got our new UDO, we used to allow single-family homes within the R18 zoning district. But when we narrowed the definition of what is allowed in an R18, it suddenly made a number of, it made all those single-family uses legal non-conforming. It hasn't come up because somebody hasn't maybe had to do foundation repair, or hasn't had a shed or something that would have kicked in us investigating into why we had a nonconformity. And this gentleman on Ralston was rehabbing a house, and And he suddenly found out he wasn't allowed to have a single-family house, which was designed as a single-family house in this neighborhood among single-family homes. And of course, that creates problems for people who want to like refinance or when they're going to get a mortgage. And this is to correct this situation for the whole neighborhood now so we don't run into that in the future. Did that answer your question?
Tina, did that make sense? Did that help?
I was muted, so yes, it did answer. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your watchful eye and both of your questions, and appreciate the information. Are there any other questions? Are there any comments that the staff would like to make?
Nope.
Are there any additional comments from the commissioners or questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is Weir. Brian, would it have made more sense to make this all R12 instead of having the little section stated at R18 and it would be the same as the surrounding neighborhood of R12?
I mean, we could have done that, and it would have eliminated the need for at least two, or well, maybe three of the enclaves. Two of them would still be needed to be.
Like the fourplex.
Yeah,
Fourplex.
we have the one up in the north is a fourplex. We have a multifamily. We have duplexes on two duplexes on one lot at the southeast, which would, if it was R12, it'd be okay, but the lot would need to be split. Remaining R18, the lot split isn't necessary for it to be conforming.
I see. That sounds good. Thank you.
And I will add that it's just going to be staff's policy going forward on these types of city-initiated rezoning that we will be rezoning to the actual use that's in place at that site. So in this case, single-family residential. And as Brian said, R12 could have worked for most, if not all, of these properties, but it will be our policy going forward that will rezone it to the current use, what makes the most sense for that property as it currently is used.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from commissioners before I close the public hearing portion? Okay, closing the public portion of this hearing for this case. Commissioners, any discussion or a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I don't think there's much adverse effect on the property owners. Certainly, zoning those small lots, down zoning those smaller lots will prevent problems in the future. Therefore, I will move that case number 20-100-09 rezoning as stated be approved relevant to the stated addresses.
I second.
Commissioner Preston moved it and Commissioner Wiley seconded. Will the city clerk
Okay. Commissioner Dreer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Chairperson McLean.
Yes. Case number 20-100-09, rezoning South Ralston Avenue vicinity has been approved. Thank you. Okay, approval of the minutes. Did everybody get a chance to read it? Any changes?
None for me.
Okay, so the minutes stand approved.
Madam Chairwoman, if you wouldn't mind, if you would at least do a voice vote on those, just if there are, ayes, we would appreciate that.
Yep, absolutely. There's a motion to approve the minutes. Do we need to make a motion?
No, you don't need to make a motion. Just all those in favor of the minutes as approved is fine.
All right. Staff, will you please call for a vote?
Okay. Commissioner Dreer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Chairperson McLean.
Yes. Okay, the minutes are approved. So, does the city have any announcements or information for us that we need to know?
Staff does not, just that this was a good dry run for us here tonight for next time. Other than that, we don't have anything else for you tonight.
Okay, we'll do the roundtable portion. Aw, we have a visitor. So much cuter than any of us. For the roundtable portion, I'd like to start out by, as a relatively new chairperson, I wanted to take a minute and just recognize the work that you all do. I appreciate it so much throughout all the cases that we've had, sometimes easy and sometimes a whole lot of information and considerations. I've seen the diligence and the due diligence that this commission has, how this commission has approached the work. Your questions, your thoughts are deliberate, you're efficient, you're thoughtful, you're considerate to the applicants, both for people requesting for businesses and the city when they're requesting for things just like we just did that seek to improve the city that we live in so that we can be a city for all. You bring, each of you, each different skill sets, different vantage points, and I have always held that as a great formula for discussions for getting things as close to right as possible. And I want to take this opportunity to applaud all of you individually and collectively, and thank you for the work that you're doing, because I think this team is really good, and I appreciate it so much. And I'm hoping that the applicants going forward appreciate your diligence and your due diligence. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Preston.
on behalf of the fellow commissioners, we thank you for your kind remarks and superintendents, as leadership does matter. And I'll yield to the other commissioners who may have comment or remarks.
And you don't have to, you can just tell me what else you're doing. You don't have to respond to that.
I agree with Billy.
Thank you, thank you. That's it for me. Does anybody have any brilliant thoughts about how to solve COVID or,
I do have one other thing. And
Okay.
Chair, I'd just like to say thanks for recognizing the being virtual instead of hybrid tonight. I didn't think there was no need for that. Next week, I do believe that there is a need for it, being the Bass Pro situation going on out there. I've had a lot of people out in my district where I live come and approach me about it. So I do appreciate that difference of what you did tonight versus the next week or the next meeting. Same with the staff.
Good, thank you. Yeah, I wish the staff could have stayed home, but I can't control that. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good week. I can't even remember what day it is, but have a great, whatever the rest of the week it looks like, have a great one.
Tuesday. Bye.
All right. Thank you all. Oh, well, that got ended real quick. For what?